There we go. We got Zach. All right. So the game we're reviewing today
is
is Dark Souls
Chex
Remastered.
Quest. Just kidding.
I played this game on both the Nintendo Switch and on the PS4, but I completed it on the Nintendo Switch. It's developed by From Software. This came out, the remaster came out on May 24th, 2018. It's available on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, the Xbox One/One X, and PC. What's really great about this? What was that?
Not PS5.
Well, I mean, it works just. I'm playing it on PS5, yeah. But this was 2018 is when it came out. So, the really nice thing about the remaster on the more powerful consoles is the game plays at 60 frames per second, and it's got like the upgraded textures and everything like that. On the Switch, it still plays remarkably well. In fact, I was super impressed. It even has tolerable load times, which is always something that's been, kind of a pain point for these games in general. And so to have decent load times on what would be considered an underpowered system for this generation is fantastic. It's locked at 30 frames per second, so that's great as well. It would be ideal if it was 60, but the fact that it doesn't really ever dip below 30 is nice. Being able to play a Souls game handheld is fantastic.
So
oh my God, this is what I've been wanting. Ever since I played Neo and finished that game, I've wanted this type of experience handheld. And this is it. So that's frankly, absolutely fantastic. I couldn't ask for more. Well, I could. I want more of these games.
I want more.
But
I couldn't ask.
I'm asking right now. Please do more good Souls. Like, there's about 1 million really shitty like Souls knockoffs. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Sure, Nintendo brand Souls game.
I think it would be unique with a new guy.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be in for it.
Give us a new person.
But yeah, to continue with our typical points on the review, what did I like about this game? Well, it's not the first Souls game, but it definitely, brings the Souls formula forward and polishes up some of the things that Demon Souls kind of had issues with. There's a bigger assortment of weapons, techniques, all sorts of things that really kind of cemented what makes the genre what it is. And these are all good things. If obviously Souls games are a niche thing. If you don't want to play something that's going to be a continuous struggle, then maybe these games aren't for you. But if you want a game that you can put in the time and really learn the system and how the game is designed, it's one of the most rewarding experiences you could ask for in a video game. And I've also compared these games to like grown-up Zelda. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't mean that as a knock on Zelda, but if I was to take the Zelda formula and evolve that into something for, hardcore gamers,
there's no puzzles though.
This is probably what I would do. You know what I mean?
Puzzles.
No, yeah, you're right. There's not many puzzles. There are some. But
I've never had.
But you're right. There's not Zelda caliber puzzles. You're absolutely right.
But I know what you
But as far as like the adventure part of it is concerned, it nails it, I think. That kind of lone warrior kind of,
silent protagonist.
Yeah. Exactly. What did I not like about the game? Well, there's plenty not to like about Souls games as well. They are very punishing. They are very brutal. And that's part of the design philosophy. And so that's something that, you kind of have to be okay with going into it. There's no hand-holding at all in these games. The story, while fantastic, is super buried in little chunks that you have to seek out that you never really necessarily know where they are. So those types of things could be conveyed a little better. Well, so there's no like
the lore chunklets, you mean?
Yeah, there's absolutely no guidance in this game.
It's like
front.
Hollow Knight.
You don't have
that, Zach.
Yeah, so I've never played Hollow Knight, but I would assume
you like see things that are supposed to like you're supposed to understand based on like what the world is telling you and like what the characters are like depicting, less than like someone telling you exactly what's going on.
There's zero exposition in these games.
There is some in like, 3, but very
so like how you get your story is by talking to NPCs, reading like flavor text on items, things like that is how you get the story. And it's actually a really deep, crazy story. But if you just play through the game, not only, if you're just playing through blind, not only is it highly likely you're not going to finish the game because you won't know where to go, but you're probably going to miss a lot of the story. So these are games that I would actually highly advise playing with friends that are familiar with it or using a walkthrough. Because, otherwise, unless you're one of those people who's super detailed oriented and likes to do like super deep exploration and pay attention to every little minute detail, there's going to be a lot lost on you. So, that's kind of something that the
only reason I'm not like that with Souls games is because it's so punishing to be like that. Like usually like the best secrets are the hardest to find and you die like 100 times just trying to find these things you don't even know where they are.
Yeah, so that's like rough. I would say that's probably my biggest criticism of the game, but it's also kind of what makes these games unique. It kind of makes them what they are. So, it's hard to really like damn the game for that. Though that is probably the weakest thing for me. Anyway.
But is it artificial difficulty?
I don't think it is actually. I think actually, if you know how to play a Souls game, they're actually pretty easy games.
But if you hit it twice, you die. That's what the complaint was about Metroid Dread.
Yeah, but there's ways to mitigate that though. There's
in Metroid you dodge, same in this game.
I don't want to get into the weeds on that. I see what you're doing, and I appreciate that, and it's a fair argument. I'll give you that for sure.
But if you get good at Dark Souls, it's not as bad.
Though and there is a bit of artificial difficulty in these games. Like that's kind of goes with the territory. But in general, even the hardest bosses, there's usually a way you can cheese it, or there's like a particular weakness, or it's really like what this game demands of you is that you learn. If you don't learn from your mistakes, then you're not going to be successful in these games. Which is really big. I would say the other complaint, which is minor, that I have of this game is, and Souls games in general, for the most part, is the currency. Because I don't like having to spend my experience points, what's going to level me up, on items that I need.
It should be a separate thing for Souls.
I think it should be separate. And there are, like in Dark Souls 3, that is mitigated a little bit.
You get a lot of them.
Because you can sell items for souls and things like that. But there are some drawbacks still. Let's see. How was the story? Was it engaging? Well, so that's a 2-part answer as well. It's an incredible story. Is it engaging? No. Because it doesn't give it to you. You have to find it. There's like crazy deep lore. There's stuff that would like make you cry, like the relationships between some of the characters. Like there's, one of the main bosses in the game like has this relationship with this wolf. They're like best friends, and he like sacrifices himself to protect this wolf and all this stuff. There's some really deep, like touching things that are hidden under so many layers. It's good. Is it engaging? I would say no. How's the gameplay? Was it fun?
Insane.
The gameplay is very addictive. One thing that I absolutely love about the Souls games is how chunky it feels, and I mean that in a good way.
Fat roll.
Like, not even the fat roll. So like when you swing your sword and you make an impact with your sword, you feel it. You know what I mean? And it feels chunky. Like, it feels like I'm doing that damage. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain without experiencing it. But it's a pretty unique feeling in video games. I think more video games should take cues from this. Not only just like through like the feedback you get through your controller, but the sound design and the amount of damage that you do and things like that. So I think that's really unique. And I love that about this game. How's the art? I think that's one of the weaknesses in these games. While the environments can be extremely beautiful, FromSoft has had a little bit of a weakness when it comes to like character detail, right? Like your character in particular, even if you spend a lot of time in your character editor, most of the time you're gonna still look like shit, you know? Though if you look at the skybox, it's beautiful, and a lot of the bosses have really beautiful design. So I think they do some things well, and they struggle with some things. Certainly in the remaster, it everything looks a lot better than it did originally. So that's, you know, a plus for sure. The music, there's not much, you know, there is, but it's subtle. And it's not bad, but it's not something that really stands out. Boss fights, certainly, you know, there's good music that gets you kind of amped up and makes you feel for what's going on. But the music doesn't really stand out the way it does in like a Nintendo game or something like that. The sound design is fantastic. Like I was saying earlier, with the kind of like chunky feeling gameplay, I don't. There's got to be a better word. Visceral. I don't know. There's got to be a better word for to describe how it feels. But like the sound design plays a big part in that. Like every movement, every action feels significant, and the sound design really helps to accomplish that feeling. How long did it take me? A long ass time. I don't know.
This game is very
I don't know.
long.
I honestly don't know. They're pretty long games, and especially if you're not using a walkthrough, they're even longer. I was following a walkthrough that was about, I think it was like a 36-part walkthrough, and each episode was about 20 minutes. So you do the math. That's the amount of gameplay you're doing. And yeah, so there's no shortage of there's no shortage of gameplay in this in regards to the time you're going to spend in these worlds. Let's see. What else? What's the game difficult? Yes. I mean, that goes with the territory with the Souls game. It's incredibly difficult. But like I said, it's difficult but fair. Everything feels like it's a surmountable task, right? Like, even though it might feel impossible at first, you'll take a couple tries at a certain boss or whatever it may be, and you'll learn like, oh, there's an opening here. I can use this technique here, you know? And it becomes, like I said earlier, if you know how to play a Souls game, they're actually not that hard. But it does require a lot of learning and growing, as Zach would say. So that's something to be said there. Would I play a sequel? Absolutely. I'm currently playing sequels for it. And the game I'm most excited about coming out this year is Elden Ring. So, definitely. Overall rating and impression. So as a game in general, we'll just do the remaster, because to be honest, I've never finished the original. So I don't think it'd be fair for me to rate that separately. I say this is a solid 9. It's a solid 9.
Mine's good.
It's very good. You know, it does have some drawbacks. The reason it's not a 10 is because of the things that it intentionally leaves out. And you know, there's some dated things in that in the game that I can't really hold against it in my score. So, were the game to come out in the state it is, as a brand new game, this would probably be like a 7-9, right? But for the time that it came out and as a remaster, it's solid, you know. Okay. So, and yeah, I think that 9 is well deserved. The current price for this game is $20 pretty much across the board. There's sales for it all the time. I think I got this for like $7 or something like that on sale. So, you know, just keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, on every platform, it's still $20, though I would say it's worth it. You know, if you really love this style of game, you want the remaster, you know, especially on the Switch, even though the graphics are a little scaled down and such, just having that experience mobile is priceless. Almost. Yeah,
that's awesome. You know?
So anyway, that is my review of the Dark Souls remaster. Boom. All right, let's get back to the main thing. Schwink, schwink. Wait for Josh to pop in. There we go.